the people that I'm really like safe with. Like I'm like a barnacle. Like you can't let go of me.
The barnacle thing. I just can't.
That's
especially the barnacle with that face, because I just imagine you like,
I'm a barnacle lady. Like I'm going nowhere. Chosen family. I don't know what to tell you.
Are you famously single at this point? Because I feel like every time I read about you, I read something.
First of all,
I want to go here.
Slightly exhausting.
I mean,
I'm like, guys,
slightly.
It's slightly exhausting because I'm like, you. Sometimes people talk about it as if I have tried to be a poster child for that. I'm like, no, that's just the facts. Okay. I also don't publicize when I am dating.
Well, fair.
Okay. Yeah. So people, we don't talk about that. That's okay.
But you can tell us if you want, Tracy.
We're gonna keep that as is. I like that to be private. Well, because here's the thing: when you start dating someone, you don't want public point of view about something that's private as you're trying to discover if it works for you or not.
Yeah, there's
so
that.
No, I don't do that. I have not been chronically single. I just don't. I haven't done. What do they call it? A soft launch? A soft launch? I haven't done a soft launch. Isn't that what they call it?
But it feels like it's a choice. Do you feel like that's very misunderstood
well,
about
no,
you?
I'll tell you what's a
Tell me.
I'll tell you what's a choice is that I'm not going to date someone just to date someone to have someone to date.
But this is what I love
I'm going to
about you.
date a
Because
person
don't you
that's a
feel like
match.
we were all told that? We were all raised with this idea that's like, well, listen, love, it's like times are running out.
Do you
You're
know how many
30
people
something
have done
and
that
you
to
better.
me?
Of course.
Do you know how many famous people have done that to me?
Name them.
I swear to God, like just men that you're just like, that's not nice.
Yes.
Like, or my favorite question is, have you ever thought about having kids? No, it's never crossed my mind.
Never occurred to me.
I'm so
This
glad you
whole
brought it up.
vagina has been here and I never thought about it not
I've
once.
said to somebody in an interview, will you please get out of my womb?
Yeah, you should.
Just get out of
You
my
should.
womb. Like,
Like
it's
I
not
have
your
a
business.
constant monthly reminder that I have
Not
the
anymore.
ability to do that. Oh, my God, that's a whole nother podcast. That's a whole nother. I don't have those questions.
Not anymore. No, that's okay. But
Lucky you, by the way. Congratulations. I'd love to get there.
But the thing about my singledom is I don't mind the conversation because it allows me to transform that question into the other thing, which is how am I choicefully living my life? And how am I curating a life that actually matches where I am? And how am I not waiting for another person or to get to a certain place or a certain weight or a certain age or a certain money or a certain whatever to do the things that I want to do that bring me joy? And how can I walk towards those things? And that's where the solo travel show came from. It's something that I always do. And it's something that has been a big part of me living out loud for who I am. And also, by the way, it's been a lot of
Hi,
discovery
welcome to my
of
live. My
what do I
name is
consider
Naomi.
fun?
Yeah.
Like other people's
Naomi
fun
from
is
Kenya.
not my,
Where are you
my
joining
version
us
of
from?
fun. And so I have to figure out how to make that real for me. And that's why now I look around and I'm like, oh, my life looks like me. It actually matches who I am.
We talk a lot about the hustle, about building something of your own, finding independence, creating opportunity. And yes, that's powerful. I know I've been there. Those early mornings, late nights, just trying to make something, anything work. But sometimes the most meaningful growth doesn't come from chasing more. It comes from opening up what you already have. My favorite example of monetizing something you already own is hosting your home on Airbnb. So many hosts I've spoken to tell me the same thing, that what started as a side hustle to earn a little extra became something much deeper. Sure, the extra income is amazing, but the real joy, it's the people. What do you wish other women in their 20s and their 30s that are still walking around with this conditioning that they're supposed to do a set of things when it comes to marriage and children? Like, what do you say to women?
Is that what you want, or is that some tape in your head from somebody else? And
Because often it's the latter.
often it is. And also, what do you want from it? Not because of what my mom told me, but because of what society told me, I grew up dreaming of my wedding. And to a certain extent, I wish I had spent more time younger dreaming of my life. I mean, can you imagine what it would look like? Dreaming of just the life, and not only the life I want, but what is it that I want to give back to the world? What is it that is my gift, my purpose, my reason for being that I want to share with other people? And that's not to say that you shouldn't dream of the partner you want, but by the way, be specific. Do you want what someone looks like, or do you want what they make you feel like? And not even what they make you feel like, what you feel around them.
Yes.
This is, by the way, a question that I tell people. How do you feel when you're around them? This is something I do when dating. There's two things that are really great tricks.
Give it to us.
Great tricks. One is take a piece of paper. On the front, write the facts. On the back, write so that you're clear. Okay, this
Which
is
is which?
correct. And not two pieces of paper where you can look at them at the same time and get confused. Flip it over like, oh my God, I love his friends. Oh my God, so and so is going to come to my wedding. Is on the other side. You know, I don't know what those things are, right? But that is one. The other that is key is on that first date, second date, third date, every date. Ask yourself, go on that date, leave the date, and ask yourself how you feel. Do I feel safe? Do I feel seen? Do I feel sexy? Or do I feel like, oh my God, I didn't wear the right thing, and da 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 da? That's not a good feeling. Do you feel like I've had people ask me, this is the worst thing to start with a guy on a date when they say, why are you still single? So my favorite thing to answer is, oh, because I'm broken. Oh, you didn't know? Like, what are you asking me?
What are you asking?
What are you asking
What is
me?
the answer to that question?
I don't know. I don't know,
Because I keep being jerks like you. Like,
I'm like, what are you asking
wrong
me?
question.
It's the wrong
Yeah,
question.
it's the wrong
okay,
question.
It's the wrong question.
Yeah.
But it does give you some sort of indication of the way they're thinking about things, right? So I think asking yourself the right questions. I have a friend who always says sometimes the questions are more important than the answers that you get, so that you stay curious in the right way for yourself. But in terms of younger people or anybody, honestly, any woman, not just women, all people, even men, anyone, whoever, no matter who you date, what is it that you want? And if you don't know, that's okay.
Yeah.
Ask yourself the questions.
And you can figure it out later.
Correct.
Yes.
And keep asking yourself those questions. The key is, do not go through your life asleep and then ask yourself, how did I end up here? Because you will end up somewhere. And if you don't like it and you're 35, it's a lot harder to make those changes. You can make them. You can make changes at any age. But if you just keep floating along where life takes you without asking yourself what you like, and by the way, it's very hard to know what you like if you don't know who you are. And many people were raised in environments where they didn't have a chance to discover who they are. Many people have been in lives that are about surviving and they don't have time to ask themselves those questions. But you can carve out 5 minutes a night and say, what did I like about today? What worked today?
Yeah, and how do I find more of that?
Correct.
Yes.
What felt good today? And then, that felt good. What felt good about it? And name it. And really understand that for yourself and go into that much detail, because you will start to build the blocks of, oh, I'm a person who a 6-person dinner is too many.
Yes.
Start small. What did I like about today? What felt good today? I had a good day. Why did I have a good day? Okay, it was when I was with that person. And then you might mistake it and think, that's a person I want to be around. What was it about that person? Was it you or was it them? And then you start to sort of build sort of a roster for yourself that can become a roadmap. For example, social media does not show us process. It doesn't show us how you got there. That's part of what you're doing in this podcast, right? Like, what are the pieces? How do you think about life?
Yes.
What are the questions that you do ask yourself? How do you discover that? How do you find that out? Like, for example, I have learned there's things I'm really good at, and there's things I'm not so great at.
You need to know that.
You need to know that. And my favorite is to remember, I never want to think I know everything. I want to remain teachable.
1,000,000%. But you need that both in your business life and in your personal life.
Correct.
Right?
And they both mirror each other.
That.
And I have built my business life the same way I have built my personal life. I do want to say to people, it is not because of the abundance that I come from that I have had this space to do that. I have carved out the visioning time, the dreaming time, meditation, where I'm looking at things.
Clearly done a lot of work.
It has been like chewing on ground glass. You say I'm comfortable in my skin. I was not. I have learned how to be comfortable
You've
in my
learned
skin.
But what strikes me about you, Tracy, is that you have an incredibly powerful mindset. And again, as I was reading so much and researching about you, one of the things that I love is this sort of level of honesty that you seem to have with yourself. And I love that you said somewhere that, it's okay to not feel good all the time.
Oh, God, yeah.
And when first of all, when you're just a woman living your life, but certainly when you're a woman running a company and trying to build something and go after your dreams and fulfill your ambition, you have really shit days. You have really shitty moments. And I wanted to ask you a little bit about that and how you've got comfortable just like not always being fine.
Well, it's just true. I think the difference for me is that I don't try and reach above it. I try and make space around it. Yes, I manifest and use my words clearly, but I am not a believer in the ask and it's given thing of positive thinking.
Yeah.
I am a believer in a sense of wholeness for myself. So I make space for for being afraid. I make space for bad days. I make space for pain. I make space for mistakes. And the key to that for me is, as I said, creating a space around it and acknowledging, like, you feel like crap, and we still got to get up and go, and we have things to do. I mean, I've had to be my funniest on my worst days. I have a life where sometimes I have to be beautiful on days when I feel horrible and feel not pretty. And by the way, one of my biggest lessons on that was my stepfather passed away, and we had a show. This was years ago, thank you very much, but we had a show to tape, Girlfriends. It was on a Tuesday. And we let go of the studio audience, but I continued to show up. And I remember learning something in my cells, that there is, for me, always a place and a part of me that is okay. And that I could lean to that person. That's not to say that I wasn't acknowledging that I was in shock, that I was frightened, that I was terrified about what it meant to lose. Like, I just didn't know what it meant in that moment. And I was deeply sad. But there was also a part of me that was okay. And that's different from the show must go always go on. That's a very different thing.
No, that's like an internal tool, like a
Yeah.
place that you can get
Find.
to that's
Yeah.
like some type of inner strength.
Yes. And so that was a life lesson for me. And I do talk about the hard moments, and I did this on the show as well, for a sense of transparency, because I have to say that I haven't seen enough examples of that. And what the result has been is me feeling ashamed.
Yeah, well, I mean, there aren't enough examples of that.
No.
But I wonder, like, how do you even show up authentically in the public eye without getting lost in the performance of it all?
I'm softer. I allow those parts of me to call the people that can support me. I mean, I've had moments when I've gotten so overwhelmed in big, wonderful moments of my life. I remember crying on my kitchen floor and calling, I don't know if it was my sister or one of my best friends, and saying, like, I don't know if I'm built for this. Like, maybe I just can't do it. Like, it's too much and it's too hard. And then I got it all out, and I was like,
Hi.
okay, I'm gonna go into hair and makeup. You know what I mean? Like, because, and it's like, that's the imposter syndrome, right?
That's it.
But give it space, give it voice, let it be heard by somebody who can hold it with love and
Yeah,
love
have
you.
those people.
And love you when you can't love yourself.
Yes.
I'm not gonna bring that to social media. I'm not looking for people I don't know to support me in that. But then you bring the part of you that is present and can hold it. I had to do something recently, and I have a text thread with friends. I'm like, guys, I'm not feeling up for this, but I am gonna suit up and allow, God to precede me in this moment, and allow, can I connect? This is what I always say to myself. I use the may I's, by the way, not the I ams. I call them the may I's.
What are the
May I put may I before stuff, because may I instead of I am feels like it honors where I am and invites me to where I want to go. And so
You said you were purposeful with the language. Okay.
so I'm
May
like, may I lean into the part of me that is deeply grateful for this event that I'm going to, for this opportunity, for what it is celebrating, and may I let the soft parts of me stay as soft as they are as I walk into this from a place of gratitude. Or sometimes I'll do, may I be of service in this moment, because I am not feeling up to anything. May I be of service and know that I'm there to be of service to what I'm going to do versus going there to get something for me. And those kinds of things help me get through some moments, lots of moments in my life and my career, that instead of being like, I'm okay, I'm totally fine, because I find that when I do that, weird stuff comes out of
No, it
my
does.
head
It really,
that you really
does.
don't want to be
No,
saying.
it really does. And also, it's dishonest with yourself. So this is actually a way of honoring your feelings, but still having the strength and being able to move
Yeah.
through something.
And then sometimes things don't go well.
Yeah,
And by the way,
sometimes they
and
just
then
don't.
all you do is you take accountability.
Yeah.
I was crappy.
Yeah.
That was not great. And
That
I really
happens.
wish I could have done that better. And I'm sorry. And and by the way, the biggest amends and accountability is to be corrective in your behavior. And I will say that we all of us, so many of us know better but don't do better. And that's okay, we're human beings. But the least you can do is keep trying. We can't be responsible for our first thought, but we can definitely be responsible for our second one. We can't always be responsible for our first action, but we can be for our second.
Like I'm in Tracy Church. I don't know if I can ask the questions because I'm just like, I'm in learning mode. You really are the rich auntie of all of our dreams. Like, I'm like, somebody give me a pencil.
I'm like, really? Give me a pool and a cocktail, and then I can give you the rich
Even better.
auntie vibes. You and I in a pool. Can we do
Let's
this
do it.
podcast?
Yes. Oh my God,
next
podcast in the pool.
in the pool?
Episode 2. Yeah, it's going to happen. Okay. So give me this. If you were giving, because I do really look at you as someone who's like got such nuggets and so much great advice, but what kind of advice would you give to a woman that is trying to truly like design a life of her own?
Get a journal. Start with yourself. And backtrack into, okay, let's start with today. How was it? How did I honor myself? Like, start with some questions, right? How did I honor myself today? What went well today? What didn't go well today? What feels scary about what I'm feeling today? What do I have resentment towards about today? What do I have gratitude about towards today? And maybe do that for a short period of time, of a week or 2 weeks, and then comb back through it with a pen and a highlighter. Circle the things that resonate as the whoppers, not the surface stuff, but like the whoppers. And then take those and put those on another piece of paper and be with those for a bit and see if you can start asking yourself questions from there.
Oh yeah.
What is the feeling I want from my life? And what things in my life that already exist give me those feelings? And then, is there a job I can build out of that? Is there a life I can build out of that? Is there a company I can build out of that? What do I do better than anybody else? What do I do that I get lost doing and can't help but to just keep doing it? Like somebody has to stop me from doing it. And how do I build something from there? Like, what are those things in your life that allow your heart to sing? And at the same time, give yourself room that you might need to try stuff and then go, that didn't work, you know? And I think you really can do that at any age. You know, I say to people, like,
Any age.
any age.
Any age.
Like, if you don't have enough joy in your life, what is joy for you?
Yeah.
What does that look like?
You have to know.
You gotta
have to
know.
figure these things out. I mean, first of all, for my whole life, I've had a diary. I still have the very embarrassing diaries from like 12
Good.
years old.
The ones with the locks on them?
Yeah, with the lock on it, the lock on it. He does a big bubble writing,
Oh,
like,
yes.
3 words on a line
Oh, yeah.
type thing. But still to this day, I journal, and it is one of the most powerful tools for figuring out my own stuff. Like,
And it's
me
different
and
than
me.
typing.
No, it has to be.
It's gotta be
Because
written.
it's got to come out. Like, it has to come out and through you, and then when you go back. But I love that as a piece of advice for starting to understand what you need and what you want and who you are, and having that ability to go back and see how you've changed and what stayed the same and what you need to do. It's actually a magnificent piece of advice.
It's a really
It's
good
a tool.
Yeah. So another piece that I do is, for example, when you get like overwhelmed and anxious and something's upsetting you, right?
No.
Never heard of that? Okay. Well, sometimes that happens to me, Emma. So I will do my list, right? I resent. I'm afraid. Whatever those things are, get it all out.
Get it
Then I
out.
do the circles of the deep ones, the ones that are like the big ones. Then I create a prayer out of that.
Oh, you do?
I take those words and I try and flip them. What is the opposite of that? What is the feeling that is not giving me that I want? And then I create a prayer that is, may I remember that I am. So I'm afraid I will never find partnership. Say that's there, right? May I remember that I am worthy of belonging and connection. I don't know. And then whenever that anxiety comes up,
You say
that's what I say. So I end up with
Ooh,
these
that's
prayers that
good.
match that particular hurt in my soul.
Yeah.
And then I'll look back. Sometimes I have a little card. I'll look back and I'll be like, oh, that got solved. At it got healed for a bit, you know what I mean? And I might have to go back to it, but that anxiety, that part of me that hurt in that little special little nook that's hidden in my heart has something that answers it specifically.
I really want people to take that in, because as a mom, and I have 2 girls, that is something I'm going to teach them, because to be able to create that for yourself,
For
to
yourself.
take that which is bothering you and that which is weighing you down, and to be able to flip it and then use what you've created as a way of
As a
reinforcing. I
soothing,
mean,
yeah.
that's magical. That is, everyone who is listening to this right now needs to rewind that bit and write it down and do that for themselves.
And I'm gonna give you
Hi,
that same example.
welcome to my
if I
live.
may,
My
from a
name is
physical
Naomi from
standpoint.
Kenya.
So
Where are
I
you
have
joining
specific injuries.
from?
At 52, you'll find that the weird, funny ways that you've been sitting your whole life create something fascinating.
Where
for
are you
your body,
joining
right?
from?
So I have specific injuries. Now, if somebody from a general place looked at my body, they would be like, okay, so you need to strengthen your hamstrings. But here's the thing, it's just this part of my hamstring, right? So I have somebody that has helped me come up with exercises.
Hi, welcome
for
to
a
my live. My
specific
name is
part of the
Naomi from
hamstring.
Kenya.
And it's
Where are you joining us
designed
from?
for me. Now that's something, and the only reason I tell that story is because if you take it out of the emotional
Where are you joining
and
us
you
from?
put it into something physical,
Please leave a
sometimes
comment.
it's easier for people to understand. Strengthening my entire
My
hamstring
content is
not
on
the
lifestyle
issue.
and
It's
food,
this
and if
little
it's
bit
something
by
that
the
you'd
way,
be interested
most
in,
people, when
kindly
watching me
subscribe to
move,
my
wouldn't even
channel.
think I had a weak hamstring,
But
right?
specificity really matters.
And it's somebody, so you know yourself better than anybody else. If you can just listen, really, and give yourself the tool to get to those places, you will have an unbreakable, unshakable foundation for your life that is built on you.
Heaven. Thank you for that. Today's segment is brought to you by Bumble, the go-to dating app for finding love. You all know that I'm a big believer in building things that last, in business, in family, but especially in relationships. And the truth is, dating can feel totally overwhelming. That's why I've noticed so many of my friends and people in my circle turning to Bumble. They've been listening to their community and making changes that actually build trust. And with optional ID verification, you've got that added reassurance that their photos and their age are real too. So no catfish here. I keep hearing the same perspective. Bumble just feels more intentional now. Profiles highlight the things that you have in common right away. So it's easier to see if someone aligns with what actually matters to you. And I love that they've added the dating advice hub in the app. It's like having a dating expert in your pocket. It's a reminder that dating doesn't have to feel overwhelming. You can take your time, you can laugh at yourself and focus on what feels right for you. So if you've been thinking about the idea of finding love, maybe, just maybe, this is your sign. Bumble's making dating safer, more intentional, and honestly... So let me tell you, I have been using the heat protector and I love it.
Amazing.
First of all, I'm very happy that you now stock in the UK, because I was the person
Shopping for your family.
from Sephora for every.
I was the one that
Tom,
told
Dick,
you.
and
I was
Harry.
like, girl, we've
Then
got
it's in Boots. I was like, guys, it's in Boots. I think they just wanted me to buy it, basically. I was just fooled into the whole thing. But it's really impressive. Yesterday, I did see that you've expanded the brand, so outside of hair, into body.
So the reason I called it Pattern Beauty and not Pattern Hair was because I always knew it was on the
You knew
roadmap.
this.
Yes.
Did you do a packaging change, or is that just for that?
For body.
Okay, full
Yes,
body.
for body. So
Okay.
it's still bold and beautiful, but it has its own category, its own color. Yeah.
So obviously, you were an actress that took this leap into business.
Yeah.
And I know for so many people, like, doing that can feel so frightening and so scary. So what gave you the idea that you could be as successful as you've been?
Oh, I had no idea it was going to be successful.
No, you didn't.
No.
So you didn't take that. You weren't like, okay, this is going to be a thing and it's going to be great. It is
No.
going to be what it is.
Not at all. Let me be clear. Yes, I was an actress, and that was my window in to have certain conversations. But I am a consumer, and that's what my pathway to being a business entrepreneur, business builder was, as a consumer. And what I knew as a consumer and a beauty consumer and a shopper in general was that my entire childhood and life around hair products, there was something missing. And I kept thinking, I didn't know it was going to be me, but I kept thinking, why is it the same products that my mom and my grandma, my aunts, like, why is it the same products? Why is it the same few products in the corner? Why is there nothing new? Why can I not find products that are actually for the way my hair
Welcome
grows
to
out
my
of my head
live. My
and are
name is
not
Naomi
trying
from
to straighten
Kenya.
my hair? Why are the products products.
Where are you
that
joining us
they
from?
say for curly hair don't work on me. So I kept saying, oh my God, it would be so amazing. And that was when my mom had that conversation. She was like, please stop buying products. You can't keep buying all these expensive products. This is insane. And that was another gripe I had. I had so much hair, you would buy this little thing
Oh,
for
yeah,
$45, and it was 2 shampoos, 2 conditioners in there. The shampoo was always bigger than the conditioner, but I used more conditioner than I used shampoo. These were all the things I was like, why has no one thought of this? I don't understand. Why did they say put a dime size when I need a handful? Like,
Exactly, put
I
a
just
dime.
never understood. And so I kept thinking, my God, wouldn't it be amazing if someone had a line of products that looked beautiful and I could use the whole line on my hair and it looked beautiful on my counter? Blah, blah, blah. Wouldn't it be amazing if someone actually made enough conditioner that it was more conditioner than shampoo?
How long did you say this for?
This was my entire growing up. And then for 10 years, I wrote my first hair care brand pitch when Girlfriends finished.
Oh,
And
and you
got,
launched it when?
it took 11 years to get on shelves.
First of all, we should say that story more because
I say it
everybody
more and I will
imagines
say
it's
it
like
here.
an overnight
No,
success.
no.
So it took you, Tracy Evans,
10 years.
10 years.
And I want to be very clear with people. This was 10 years, and nobody thought it should be coming from me. This was before celebrity brands existed. I'm the founder, so that is often different, whereas people bring somebody in. But Pattern was built as a consumer who saw a blank space in the industry that just was not being serviced.